what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
All of us need to be reminded that the federal government did not create the states. The states created the federal government.
The Illuminati was founded, ironically, on May 1st, 1776, before the founding of our own country. Think about that, May 1st. Who was killed after being on the lam for nearly a decade? That's right, Osama bin Laden was killed on May 1st. Also on May 1st, ironically, Hitler was committed suicide. The other thing that I found to be very interesting when it comes to dates is that 9/11 occurred on September 11th. Now 11 is a very big number with the Illuminati as well. The bombing in Madrid occurred 911 days after 9/11. There is definitely an effort to undermine the will of the American people. We spend more money on the military than basically half the world combined. So, and we're in debt, and we owe to China. It's very precarious. The Founding Fathers said we should limit our foreign entanglements, and our web is just as Shakespeare had said, a tangled web. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive.
Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit-trained professor of canon law, well versed in the occult, formed a new secret organization that would unite all the secret societies for an unthinkable purpose: to gain complete control over the world and its resources, and to achieve total domination of its people. Weishaupt euphemistically described it as a new world order. His diabolical brotherhood was founded on a synthesis of the themes of secret societies that had gone before. He skillfully combined Masonic secret rituals and knowledge, the assassins' Islamic mysticism, killing arts, and use of hashish, the Priory of Zion's influential membership, and the Templars' wealth, power, military science, and vendetta against the Catholic Church. To that, he added his own knowledge of the occult. It was not an accident that he chose May the 1st, a very important date on the satanic calendar, for the founding of his society. The group was called the Illuminati. The public translation was intellectually inspired. But Weishaupt himself said in private that the word was derived from Lucifer and meant holders of the light. The official seal of the Brotherhood was a mystical, unfinished pyramid, and an eye above it with rays of light emanating in all directions. The eye represented the all-seeing, all-knowing nature of the illuminated Brotherhood reigning above the world. To his followers, the founder listed the 5 top secret primary means that would be used to accomplish his dark goal of total world domination. 1. Monetary and sex bribery would be used to gain control of men already in high places in the various levels of all governments and other fields of endeavor. 2. The Illuminati who were on the faculty of colleges and universities were to cultivate the best students for the cause. 3. Influential people and specially trained students under the control of the Brotherhood would be placed behind the scenes of all government, religious, and financial institutions and used as agents. 4. The secret society would develop absolute domination of the media so that all news and information could be slanted to convince the masses. Since the founding of the Illuminati, a number of officials have died at the Vatican under highly suspicious circumstances, including 3 popes. In each case, the death of the official was timed so as to have a great political significance, the telltale mark of the secret brotherhood influencing world politics for their benefit. In 1939, Pope Pius XI was poised to release a statement condemning both the Nazis and the fascists, groups doing the kind of evil that the Illuminati would be behind. But before he could make the public statement, he suddenly died. A close assistant, Cardinal Tisserand, was heard to repeat again and again in French, "They have assassinated him! They have assassinated him!" His body was quickly embalmed, making an autopsy and proof of cause of death impossible. In 1978, it seemed the secret brotherhood might again be using murder to manipulate the papacy. Paul VI suddenly died. Admittedly, he was frail, but the sudden worsening of his condition seemed all too convenient to many observers. However, this time, the Illuminati architects got a result they probably were not expecting: a pope who would be at odds with them, John Paul I. Almost immediately after he took office, the new pope showed a great deal of independence. It seemed that John Paul had a special distaste for the corruption he had seen was rampant in the Vatican's finances. While he was the Cardinal of Venice, the Venetian Catholic Bank was sold in a secret deal to the Vatican Bank for a greatly undervalued amount. Profits reaped by a few were estimated at more than $70 million, but the losses to the Venetians were great. The clergy of Venice even lost their pension fund. Instrumental in the deal were bankers Roberto Calvi, his mentor Sindona, and the director of the Vatican Bank, Bishop Marcinkus. After John Paul became Pope, these three were still in charge of investing much of the Church's money. In his new position, the pontiff had the power to investigate them and publicly bring out the facts. Altogether, he was poised to uncover illegal dealings that involved almost $1 billion. This would be a serious blow to the Illuminati, who were certainly behind the criminal financial dealings. The danger to the Pope became shockingly clear one day at a private meeting between John Paul and a Russian Orthodox Archbishop, Nicodim. As the meeting began, coffee was poured. Nicodim took the first sip and almost immediately collapsed to the floor and died. His face was very contorted in a horrible and unnatural grimace, as if the death was very painful. The stunned Pope carefully put down his own cup before he sipped. Certainly it came to his mind that the coffee must have been laced with poison that was meant for him. The official doctor, however, quickly proclaimed that the Archbishop had died from what had become the standard cause for deaths at the Vatican, a massive coronary. The experience proved so frightening that John Paul called a secret meeting with his top 4 cardinals to discuss the situation. The meeting took place on September the 28th, 1978. Only the 4 cardinals and the Pope were in the room. To this day, it is not known exactly what was said, but afterwards, the Pope was moved to take action. He ended the term of Cardinal Vilo as Secretary of State. This was the same Cardinal Vilo whose assistant had been blackmailed in the KGB films taken in 1972. Over the 6 years, this cardinal must have also been drawn into the Illuminati's web. Removing him meant that the Pope had uncovered at least part of the dark secret. But even John Paul could not avoid his fate at the hands of the Illuminati. That night, the pontiff retired earlier than usual and took with him detailed notes of the secret meeting to deliberate upon. At 5 a.m. the next morning, the Pope's closest attendant, Sister Vincenza, became concerned. His Holiness had never overslept before. She peered inside his door. John Paul appeared to be sitting in bed with the light on as if he were reading. Various papers were around him. But to her horror, his face was frozen in the same agonized contortion she had seen on the face of the dead Russian Nikodin only days before. After only 33 days as Pope, John Paul was dead. After more than 200 years of protecting their secret ways, the Illuminati was very thorough at covering its tracks. Although the Pope had relieved him of his Secretary of State duties just hours before, Cardinal Vilo took charge. As the senior cardinal, he was now, in essence, the temporary Pope. He first locked himself in the papal bedroom and collected prescription medicine from the bed table and most of the papers in the room, including notes of the secret meeting. Also taken were the candies the pontiff often enjoyed while reading, and even the Pope's reading glasses and slippers. All these items were never seen again. Next, Vilo sent Sister Vincenza away to a convent after forbidding her to tell anyone that she had found the pontiff dead and anything about what she saw. And then at 6:10 a.m. he ordered embalmers to be summoned. But the most shocking occurrence of all was that they arrived almost immediately. It was estimated that given the distance the embalmers had to travel, they must have been contacted at 4:45 a.m., 15 minutes before the time that the sister had discovered the Pope. At 7:30 a.m. a public announcement was issued. The cause of death was heart failure. Instead of Sister Vincenza, it was reported that the Pope's secretary, Monsignor Maggi, had found the body, and the time of discovery was changed to 5:30. By the time of the announcement, the embalmers had already done their work, just as in the all-too-similar death of the Russian Archbishop only 23 days before. Any possibility of a 100% accurate autopsy was eliminated. If foul play was involved in the death of John Paul I, the chance to prove it was conclusively gone forever. Lunches. When the cardinals finally entered the Sistine Chapel for the closed-door session Sunday morning, October the 15th, 1978, it became the scene of a theatre of political manipulation on all levels, from promises whispered between cardinals to heated debates, with each ballot tensions elevated. After the 8th ballot, white smoke billowed up from the Vatican, signaling that a new pope had been elected. It also signaled a staggering defeat for the KGB and the Illuminati. The new pontiff was a staunchly anti-communist Pole, John Paul II. But the Illuminati does not accept defeat easily. On May the 13th, 1981, Mehmet Ali Agca, a man wanted in Turkey for murder, stood outside the Vatican Basilica in the crowd waiting for the Pope to ride through. According to Ali Agca's own account, John Paul came out of the Vatican about 5 p.m. in a white Jeep. As the Pope came by, Ali Agca pulled a pistol out and fired 3 times before being wrestled to the ground by the crowd. The pontiff was seriously wounded, but he would recover to continue his papacy.
The original order, when it was founded on May 1st, 1776, included 5 members. So again, numbers are important. 5. Okay, the stars. Okay, the 5. You got the star there, you got that. Good. All right. During the period of 1776 to 1784, the Illuminati were legally allowed to operate. Many influential intellectuals and progressive politicians counted themselves as members. That's the whole importance of it. It really hasn't changed. It just went underground. And there was a time in the beginning when it was legal, and it flourished, and very prominent people became members. Okay? During this period of 1776 to 1784, they became members and pledged loyal obedience to their superiors. Okay? It's very Masonic, works the same way. All right? The group has also been known, as I said, as the Bavarian Illuminati, and the movement has also been referred to as Illuminism. Now, members were divided into 3 main classes, each with several degrees. Like I said, it's very Masonic. The order had its branches in most countries of the European continent and reportedly had about 2,000 members over the span of 10 years. The organization had its attraction for literary men such as Johann Wolfgang von Goethe and Johann Gottfried Herder, and even the reigning Duke of Gotha, which of course is the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha family, the Windsors. There's the connection to the Windsors right there, okay? Which is Queen Elizabeth, as we know them in the royal family, royal wedding. And of course Weimar, which came from the Weimar Republic. Now, Weishaupt modeled his group to some extent on Freemasonry, as I mentioned, and many Illuminati chapters drew membership from existing Masonic lodges. In addition to the shadowy and secret organization, several modern fraternal groups claim to be heirs of the Bavarian Illuminati and have openly used the name Illuminati in founding their own rites. Some, such as there are multiple groups that call themselves the variations of the Illuminati Order. Some, their own rites. Some call themselves variations of the Illuminati Order, and they use the name directly in the name of their organization, while others, such as the Ordo Templi Orientis, used it as a grade of initiation within their organization. So they have like grades, like when you come in, first you're on this, and then that, and this. Okay? In 1784, Karl Theodor, the ruler of Bavaria, banned all secret societies, including the Illuminati, and Weishaupt fled in obscurity. He disappeared, basically. But documents from the group had been seized and then were published by the Bavarian government in 1787. It's puzzling because it's right in front of your face, too. They're so arrogant in their control and taking over. Put it in your face, you know, what they do. You know, now with Osama bin Laden's dead, the terrorists are going to go wild. Meanwhile, everybody in the Islamic world says absolutely nothing about terrorism. You know, there's nobody screaming in the streets. There's no one, you know, grabbing people and doing all this crazy stuff with the militant stuff. Of course not. Okay, they don't care. All right, it really doesn't matter. They want us out, and this might be a good indication of a way to get out. But no, we're going to have some false flag terror going on, and we're going to have to clamp down on those rights again. We're going to have naked body scanners already. Look, they're already doing it. Nothing's even happened. And they're already putting all this fear into the people. What is going on? And if something happens, I'll be honest with you, I have reason to believe, and history has proven it to be true, that it's probably not going to be real. Whatever goes on next, whatever's going to happen next, is just going to end up escalating our war. It's an ongoing... It's been going on as like our country has been going on. Okay, it's the same time. Their stretch is great. Their reach is wide. They're an octopus, a tangled web. The ongoing goal of the Illuminati are to control and manipulate world events, and it's accomplished through the Round Table of the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, the United Nations, the Bilderberg Group, the Club of Rome, Institute of International Affairs, that's the royal branch which is connected to the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the World Bank, the International Bank of Settlements in Switzerland, the World Health Organization through the UN. I mean, there's all sorts of really bad things going on. To get into the details of that, that's another story. But other things it is, basically around the world, the Illuminati infiltrate and manipulate governments, banking, and other powerful global sources. And they... Around the world, the Illuminati infiltrate and manipulate governments, banking, and other powerful corporate and religious systems to incrementally forward their New World Order agenda of creating a one-world tyrannical government completely under their despotic control. And that's exactly what they want to do.